Okay, we got it. Okay, so I'm going to bring on my friend Mary Evelyn, and I'm so excited. So we had a last minute cancellation, and so I messaged Mary. Oh, here we go. I see your request. I am approving you. Just so it is adding you right now. Oh man, amazing. Let's see. It still says adding. Make sure your lock screen rotation is turned off. That way you can go horizontal. Hi, Lissa. Hello again, Lissa. We're gonna see if we can do. Hi, Rachel. Hey, Rachel again. Hey, girls. Let's see, Mary Evelyn, if you could just make sure your screen is horizontal, and also make sure your lock screen rotation is off. I think that's like always the issue we come on. Christine, hey, Mary Evelyn's on this week. Let's see. Let's see. It still says adding. What does it say? Hey, Rachel, what does it say on your end? Let's see. Here we go. I'll try adding again. Approve. Let's try this again. Sometimes it just takes 2 tries. My record with yay, my record with technology today is not that great. Yay! Hello. Can you hear me?
Hey, your turn is off. Is that better?
Yes, yes. Oh, you look so cute. Your hair is so cute.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're adorable. I really can't figure out what's going on in here.
No,
I feel like I need more lighting. But
it's okay. Yeah, you look so cute. Oh man.
thanks.
I haven't seen you in forever, so this is kind of also just like a catch up. Like I get to talk to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I know. Christine texted me a little bit ago. She was like, congrats. I'm like, what? She got the email about this. So hopefully she's on here tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been when were you here in Branson? Was that in February? January? I don't remember when you were here.
I think it was before Christmas, to be honest. I think it was forever
That's
ago.
probably accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to look at you, but then I want to look at everybody else, and I'm like, wait, what?
I know. It's such a weird thing. We should get Christine on here next time.
Yes.
Actually, I'm pretty sure there's a way to do like a triple screen. Christine,
Oh my gosh.
Christine, if you want to hop on with us too.
Wow.
Up to you. Okay. So just to get this started, usually I have everybody come on and just introduce themselves, just so the viewers and the podcast listeners, this is going into podcast form, in a week. So, our viewers and listeners can get to know you a little bit better. Could you just fill us in a little bit on how your art journey got started? Maybe like when you first gained an interest in it, and then kind of just like a snapshot of where you are now as well.
Yeah, well, the short answer is when people are like, when did you start art? And I'm like, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear that. I did art in high school on and off. I did AP art in high school. And that was probably it. I didn't do anything past that. And I actually stopped doing art for probably 2 to 3 years after high school, oddly enough. It was my passion.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, adult life caught up, and I just was like, oh, art, that's never going to take me anywhere. Don't ever say that to yourself.
That's
okay?
a common thing.
Take you
yeah,
places.
I feel like that's a common thing
Yeah.
when I talk to people. They're like, I was really interested in it, and then I don't know, I just lost, I don't know, and then they get back in it. But that's the important thing.
Yeah. So, okay, all that, fast forward, got married, moved on, worked at Hobby Lobby for many years. I'll be nice about it. It was good, but I wish I had been trying to formulate plans a little bit better, which I was. At some point I was like, okay, I'm gonna go part-time and do art part-time and work retail part-time, which is a very smart plan. That's what you should do. Use whatever you're in to forward where you want to go. And so anyway, all that. My dad got sick in 2014. So yeah, it's been 5 years now. He got cancer. And he was an artist himself, a watercolor artist. And up until that point, I was an oil painter and acrylic and drawing, anything but watercolor. I was like, I don't like watercolor. Watercolor hates me. Yeah, as odd as that sounds, I was like, no, watercolor is not my thing. So as sad as it is, my dad passed away in 2014. And I got his watercolor supplies. So I was kind of the only serious artist in the family. And I was like, I'm going to give this a go. I mean, I have all these supplies, all these watercolor boards. I have the basis. So I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. And I think it was a pet portrait or something I did first try. And there was something that kind of, I guess, internally was like, I'm going to do this to continue his legacy. That was my driving force. And then I think later, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was later that year, or it was the next year, we lost our dog we'd had. And so I was wanting to do pet portraits at that point. So that's how that started, that drive. So between my dad and my dog and my husband and our first dog together, that is where it all kind of came together. And then in 2015 is when I opened my Etsy shop. So that's, of course, we moved after my dad passed. My husband took on a different job and we ended up moving. And and I was kind of like, well, if we're going to do this, I'm going to do it. Yeah. So you just kind of find what you're, like you say, you know, your niche. But when we got here, I was like, what's the best coffee shop? Go find the best coffee shop. That's where the artists reside. We were told it was Vintage Paris. I give them a shout out, in Hollister. And from there, that's actually how I met Christine. And I'm a part of a group called State of the Ozarks now. And we do events. And we actually, in June, had our first Friday art walk in downtown Hollister. So we now have art walks. The next one's July 5th. So all that to say,
I didn't know that.
All it takes.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
I should.
You should come. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You'd meet a lot of local artists, and we have a lot of them. But if honestly, if we hadn't have found that coffee shop, as odd as that sounds, I don't know I mean, I'm sure I'd be still doing commissions, but it would be different. Because there's just so many little, I mean, like I said, if Christine hops on at some point, she can probably tell you, like, there's just so many, like, transcending steps from just going there. And then she reached out to me because I hung some artwork in the coffee shop, and she's like, I want to meet you. So the rest is history.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember, like, I loved it because you reached out to me on Instagram about a year ago. And I was like, this is cool. Like, someone's reaching out. Like, that's so cool. Heck yeah, let's meet for coffee. And I remember talking to you, and you, like, had some commissions here and there, but you weren't, like, completely booked out. And now so many commissions. So I love that. And I love, because I feel like I feel like a lot of people are in that state of, like, getting a little bit of commissions here and there. So I would love to have you, that's why I wanted to have you on, to not just to catch up, but just to tell them, like, how you did that.
Well, I'm trying to think. So I kind of, like, printed off my sheet of your questions and tried to keep hearing this thing, like, crackle. So hopefully the audio is okay.
Maybe it's like, is it this?
I don't know.
It
may be me. I don't know.
There we go.
Or it could be. I don't know.
Now it's good.
Okay. I'm like, hopefully it's not crackling. So, okay. What was the question?
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. I actually haven't even started on these questions, but so.
No, it's okay. But you were saying how I was getting commissions. Is that kind of what your question
so
was?
how did you go from, like, here and there to, like, now you're pretty booked out?
Yeah. Okay. So kind of backing up to when I was just starting watercolor, oddly enough, it's not odd, but just to me, it's like, I have these random people in my life who kind of kickstart things or, like, get behind you and they're like, do this, you can do this. So a lady got into real estate and she was like, hey, I need a watercolor of a house. And I'm like, okay, I think I can figure that out. Like, at the time I had only done a few dog portraits. And so I was like, yeah, I'll figure that out. And, gave her a cost. It was, really low. And it didn't take me long. I just, kind of did it. And I've posted a couple times about, like, back then, 5 years ago to now and all the detail I add. But so with that was kind of a neat little thing to go, oh, people have a need or a want for homes to gift either to the seller or to the buyer. So that's one little like lock in. And I mean, I work with 2 real estate agencies now in Portland, Oregon, and I have between the 2 of them, I think 8 houses on order right now. So it's 2 real estate agencies. Think about how many we have in the whole United States. Just 2. I think not last year, year before, I think I did 66 or 80 houses for this one company during the year. Yeah, I think it was like 7 a month or something. It was ridiculous in a good way. I mean that in a good way. Don't anybody take that the wrong way. So houses is one aspect. The dogs was because of my dog. So when I did her portrait, I was like, I never thought I would need that, you know, as a dog owner. I'm like, I don't need a portrait of my dog. Well, I did. Then I was like, well, other people are far more. I mean, I didn't even have my dog that long. She was not even 5. She was epileptic. So other people had a desire, and I started building friendships with people on social media. And that's a big thing too, is to really have your, I guess you'd say like your tribe on social media. Because you can do crazy big things with just a handful of people. And so anyway, I don't even remember the first few pet portraits that I did, but the more you do, the more desire people have for it, if that makes sense. Like I haven't sold many minis, like little 3x3s, because I haven't been doing minis. I haven't been showing the process. If I work on 8x10s, people are like, oh, that's a great idea. I need that for my cousin's birthday, or, you know, or my sister just lost her dog, or my grandma, you know, anyway, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, finding, it's funny, or it's cute to me when people ask, oh, do you do commissions? And I'm like, that's all I do right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty much it. I'm trying to break out of that mold a little bit with some of my birds. And then I did the show Legacy in Springfield in 2017, end of 2017. And that was fun because that gave me a big collection of pieces for a while. And some of the people that I used, like their dog, one lady in Canada, I became friends with her. And we ended up meeting in Florida. We happened to be going down there. She happened to be coming down to Disney World. And she wanted to buy those paintings that I did of her dog for the show. And so we met up. And I think I've sold just about every piece that was in that show since then. And but again, that's the only like solo stuff I've done in a long time. The rest of it, I have my options, and I'm trying to work on different options, which I know we'll get to that at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was great. Thank you. Yeah. So just to reiterate, like I have this theory too. It takes you meeting one person to be booked out, kind of a thing. And that's a great example of that. So someone wanted their house painted, and a real estate agent and then she commissioned you to do a bunch more, and now you're doing all these others. So it just takes meeting that one person. So for like there's like people watching, people listening, it's like you could meet that one person at any point. Just keep going. And then you do dog commissions because you wanted to get into it. And so how do you get your dog commissions? Is it mostly from Instagram, or is it?
I would say mostly Instagram. I have met a few people that I've met locally, or, you know, like a couple years ago, I was like, oh, you're in Republic, you know, and I was like, let's meet up. I'll deliver it by hand. And I asked her, I'm like, how did you find me? And she's like, I just searched, you know, whatever it was she was searching on Google, and I popped up, or, you know, and I've had that happen on several occasions. I've met up with a gal in California when I was visiting my sister. She ordered a cat portrait. And I was like, you're really close to me. Why don't we just meet for coffee and I'll deliver your artwork? And I asked her too, and she's like, I just Googled, you know, like, I think it was like, I don't know, whimsical pet portrait or something. And she's like, you came up. And I don't do Google ads or any kind of, I don't pay for any kind of sponsored ad.
Yeah.
I don't put any money into marketing except for physical marketing where I can hand somebody something.
So maybe they typed in maybe Branson with it, and you were like the one that maybe popped up. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, the California one. That's just happenstance. Yeah. So. It's really odd.
That's so cool though. Oh, it's like, thanks Google. Okay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what makes up your typical work day, and how many hours do you typically spend painting?
Zero.
Yeah, said no artist ever.
It's magic.
Yeah.
I paint. That's my secret, y'all. I paint with magic. I'm just kidding. I shouldn't go there. Um, I don't really have a schedule. I thought I needed one at one point. I'm like, gosh, I need to get all this stuff done. So maybe I should work from like 8 to 11 and then come back and work from 2 to, 5 or some broken up thing like that my husband kind of came up with, which was it's a good idea. If that's how you work, go for it. And I typically in the mornings, I will try to sit down and work on things. This morning was a good morning. I actually got a whole 5x7 house painting done. And I was like, yes, winning.
Wow.
That doesn't usually happen. I get sidetracked very easily. So typically I will go to the coffee shop, which then in turns to other places I stop at. And the next thing I know, it's past lunchtime. And then I'm like, oh, it's 6 o'clock at night. And then I start working on stuff.
Yeah.
And on top of all this, I teach Zumba.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm a Zumba, yeah. So I'm a Zumba instructor. And so I could be teaching every day of the week, or I could just be teaching a couple days a week. This week I teach 3 days out of the week, which, they're an hour class. It's not that big of a deal, but that usually takes up 2 hours of my time, no matter how you look at it. So you just kind of fit things in where they go, and I am all over the place. And I work oddly. I don't know how most artists work. Showing progress work. I just finished a wedding portrait for a couple. And I was like really hesitant to send her anything during the process because she really wanted sneak peeks. And I'm like, well, I start up here and then I jump down to the corner and then I'm up here and then I'm over here and then I'm down until it's all done. I don't start from like top to bottom. So yeah, that's my life.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I think a lot of people, I think that's very relatable to a lot of people too. Because like I'm the same way.
That is my speaker. That's what I thought it was. My little mic is way over here.
I gotcha.
Okay.
We're good.
We're good now.
I'm the same way. Like if I don't have like a mural job that I have to go out and go do, if I have to get a commission done during the day, I'll be like, I'll have breakfast and then I'll do Instagram and then I'll do this and then it's like 5 o'clock and I'm starting and I'm like, okay. Well, so I feel you on that.
Yeah, I need to put my phone in like a little lockbox with a timer on it. Because I pick it up and then like 30 minutes later I'm like, I need to stop looking at cute puppy videos.
Yes, exactly.
But they do say that makes you more productive to look at baby animals.
Oh really? Because it boosts your mental happiness.
Science.
Okay, cool. Noted.
It's proven by science. Whoever science is.
Can you talk us through your painting process? Are there any methods or techniques that you picked up through the years? I'm especially interested I was actually showing your work to someone that I met at a sushi restaurant. They asked me for this was literally on last week when my mom came to town, Thursday. She, they wanted a pet portrait, so I showed them yours, and they're like, is that colored pencil? I was like, actually, it's colored pencil and watercolor, right? Okay, I'll let you.
Yeah, I use, no, it's okay. I use watercolor pencils, actually. And I don't always go back over with water on them. Like, sometimes I'll just use them, and it kind of creates a soft effect. Because I used to use pen, like like the Micron pens, on top of pet portraits, which is fine. I've just kind of shifted a little bit over the years. And so, like, it can go as far as like this wedding portrait I just did. It's watercolor pencils and polychromos, the Faber-Castell polychromos colored pencils. So you can kind of have a layer because those work really nice over watercolor. And depending on the paper you use, I use it's between I flip paper backwards. I don't use art supplies like they're supposed to be used. Just FYI.
Oh really?
I'm not. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, if there's a certain side to a paper and I like the other side that's smoother, but it's still cold press, I'll just flip the paper over. It might come back to bite me one day. I'm just telling all my secrets. So typically, painting process, I kind of go anywhere from doing commission to commission to commission versus like right now, I have a stack of the houses I talked about earlier. So I went ahead and printed out the photo to fit they're 5x7s, and so I cut my paper out and I taped down the paper to a foam board and getting it ready to be transferred. That's just how I work. I use my iPad Procreate, love Procreate, yes, lifesaver, to get whatever composition it is I'm needing. Print it out, and I use graphite paper. It's just, I used to do them by hand. You can't do, well, I shouldn't use the word can't. You can if you're really fast at sketching things. But I decided a long time ago that I wanted to move forward quickly, and so like a house, especially with all those little details. And then if you saw my outlines, you'd probably be like, well, I can't hardly see it. Well, I can, and that's all that I need is a guideline. It doesn't matter if anybody else can see it. And then I move forward with, I usually start with a wash, what I call my ugly stage, which is not, it's just it's an awkward stage. It just looks funky. And then I go back in with darker shades. Now I work opposite with houses and pet portraits, oddly enough. From houses, I work light to dark. Pets, I work dark to light, which is, I don't know.
Really?
It's a brain thing. Well, like pets, I'll put in a wash. Let's say it's a chocolate lab. I want to get all those dark tones in there before, I don't want to have to keep adding, if that makes sense. Now I'll go back over, make sure the pupils of the eyes are darker, but I'll go back in with like white gouache and like start adding fur marks and highlights, things like that. And we have a variety of pens that we use. Art and Fly has a great white gel pen that's archival. So I use that for like whiskers, and you can go over it with water and it actually does a great glaze. So that's kind of, I don't know if that kind of answers the process, but that's pretty much from start to finish. It's, prepping it, and then it depends on if it's on watercolor board or if it's on paper, or canvas, or which I actually don't use canvas really anymore. I use wood panels.
Oh.
I chucked canvases. Yeah, I don't like canvas. I just
really
don't. Yeah, it's a personal preference.
Okay. Where do you get these?
It's a texture thing.
Where do you get the wood?
Blick art supplies. Yeah. So I just like the way they look. It's the birch wood panels. And then I just either use matte medium or acrylic on top to seal the wood, and then I go from there. I was like, I have 2 oil paintings right now that are on order. So those have to get done at some point, which the process is similar. But I do an acrylic base, and then I put the oil on top, and I don't use full oil. I use water-based oils.
Okay, so you're just defying all the rules. You're like I'm just gonna figure it out on my own.
Well, the acrylic thing, that's a Lisa Lockery thing. Just in case anybody else wants to go find another artist that has tons of tutorials, Lisa Lockery Fine Art, I think it is. She does a full acrylic, maybe in black and white, and then glazes it with oil, and it's beautiful. Huh. Like, I think you'd be entertained by that, because you'd be like, I can do this in 2 steps. Like, you could probably do it in 1 step because you're awesome. But
no, I was like, thank you, but I don't know. Christine says, yeah, boo, canvas sucks.
Oh, I don't even see comments. I don't even have comments.
Oh, really? I'm not sure how to turn it on your end.
That's okay. If there's something interesting,
yeah, for sure. Okay. So what is one thing you don't like to paint without?
Water. Just kidding.
I love your answer.
I'm sorry. I'm snarky like that. I thought about that long and hard. I was like, well, the essential of watercolor is water. No, it would be like an audiobook or music. I mean, I don't know if you wanted a supply answer or just a necessity, but like you, I need something, except that I think we had this conversation where you like podcasts, which I've listened to podcasts, and that's fine. And I'm sure I just need to dive into one that's really good. I love books. I want to be in that little world, and I don't even understand like how that works with your brain. Like, how can you do art, right? And like fully be immersed in this book? And I won't divulge into what books, because I tend to listen to them all and then I start them over again, and I listen to them all. I start them
so a long series.
a very long series of anywhere from 15 to 30 hours
Wow.
per book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And when somebody can guess which books it is that I've listened to, you win a door prize. I don't know what that
I
means.
don't, yeah, I need to just do a book because like all I listen to our business podcasts all day, and it just makes me like so anxious to get to doing all the things I need to just do. I need to just get lost in like La La Land of a book. So any recommendations?
But it makes you get
I
stuff
know.
done. If you're like a hustler, who
Yeah,
cares?
I know. I need to.
Me, I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, cool. Are there any art lessons you've learned the hard way?
I thought about that one. That's the only one I didn't write anything
Yeah,
under. Um, I'm sure there are
yeah.
many, but I can't think of a specific
Maybe
one
like
at the moment. I mean,
have you like
yeah.
have you ever had a customer maybe like back out last minute and or like have you ever had like
Not back out last minute because I take payment
oh
up front, like they purchase the item. I don't do, it's rare that I do
okay
deposits, just because the way Etsy's set
yeah
up. Um, the only thing I've had is a client. I did a house. Okay, I did 5 houses for her. It was an anniversary gift. It was the 5 places that they lived.
oh
And I do things based off of the
yeah
photos that they send me, and it's in the text in the listing. So anyway, I get going, I get them all done. She's like, oh, because there's one with a tree in front of the house. There's a tree in front of the house. It was in the
yeah
photo, so I painted it. And she's like, well, that's not. And so it was fine because typically with things like that, she was wanting it more for, I don't remember the exact wording, but like, the shape of the house, what it was, not necessarily. I love greenery and I love all the trees, and the more boxwoods and the more flowers, the better for a property personally. But that's
yeah
hearsay. So anyway, redid the painting. She was happy. Typically, if a client isn't happy with something, and it's only happened a handful of times, I just keep doing it until it's right.
oh
I don't know if that's insanity or ridiculousness, or
it's
I don't like the idea of somebody not liking
yeah
me.
yeah but that's like customer satisfaction. I mean that's your
Yeah.
customers are your main
So,
thing. That's good.
yeah. And I was thinking, do I have a stack of, I'm going to do a post one day. I have a whole stack of art that are redos, things that
Oh,
I just don't throw away things if I did it like halfway, or I've gotten something done and it's not sitting right with
yeah.
me. Like I've even reached out to a client. I did her a dog. It was her basset hound and she had this little Pomeranian. They were both the same size. They were both like 11 by 14s. And this, basset hound and then this Pomeranian. I'm like, I was like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling it. I said, do you mind if I redo it and do it a different way? She was thrilled. So, some things don't sit right with me. I've done that with an oil painting. If I can't get it right, I just scrap it and start over. And again, that just goes to, it's either a good thing or it's a very unhealthy behavior. I'm not sure which.
I
So,
think it's pretty good because yeah, I'm the more stubborn one. Because I don't know. I need to have that. You're more of a mentality of like just start over. And I'm so stubborn. I'm like no, I've come this far. I'm keeping going.
yeah. Now, some people, and we've all, I'm sure, depending on, I think we're all artists
Yeah.
here, in this chat, have gotten to that point where we feel frustrated by a piece. And I think you've actually posted on this, like, you're just like, gosh, I don't understand. Well, finish it.
Yeah.
Get to the finish line, because I've done that many times, and I look at it, I'm like, oh, how did I do that? It actually looks really good. Oh,
Looky there.
look at
Yeah.
there. So.
Cool.
I'm just go to the finish line, and if you still don't like it or hate it or feel like you could do better, then go for that. And that probably comes from my mother, which working on certain behaviors that she has. But like going above and beyond is like her deal. And so I don't know. I guess that's just stuck over the years.
Yeah.
So I
That's
don't know.
amazing.
Yeah, I really do wish I had an example of a hard, like, because I know there's probably something out there, like maybe something I didn't like. Well, no, I don't know. I really, if I think of something, I'll mention
Yeah,
it.
just let us know for sure. Awesome. Okay. But I think that was a good sub answer too. Just talking about like just
Okay,
starting
good.
over. I think that was great. Um, so do you have a favorite past project, like a favorite painting?
Um, I have prepared a dance. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, y'all. I am one of those people like in my workshops, if there's not a pun like based on the workshop, like tomorrow is my pet portrait
Oh,
workshop. So it's like, are your watercolor skills feeling a little rough? Well, you'll have a positive experience,
aw,
blah 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 blah.
I
Anyway,
love that.
I had fun with the pumpkin leafing. Like you will leave, it'll make you want more. Something like leafing,
Yeah,
and
leaving is.
oh my gosh, there was a whole Christine actually will tell you I texted her. I kept texting her all these puns and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop. And then I like did another one. And I'm like, I'm really gonna stop now. Anyway, I digress. Y'all just know my personality. I'm that way in Zumba too. If I'm not like making a joke or I think it's a coping mechanism.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Okay. So
No,
anyway,
you're good.
this is what I prepared.
Oh, wow.
So this is a ranunculus piece. It's watercolor.
Wow.
And it is on watercolor. It's stretched. That's just a term. It's not actually stretched. It's wrapped. But it's a 36 by 48. These are 16 by 20s.
Oh, big.
So that's in California. I know I tried to find the photo of me standing next to it and I couldn't
Yeah,
find it.
that's so cool.
But that's probably like my favorite thing.
Yeah,
I want to do another one
yeah, yeah. And
soon.
so for the podcast listeners, when this is on the podcast later, go to Mary Evelyn's Instagram and you'll be able to see it, so you can see what we're talking about.
Yay! Yes, yeah, and I didn't mention, yeah, sorry, I didn't even mention my company name.
Oh no.
Just Google
Yeah.
me. It's Mary
Yeah.
Evelyn. Yeah, Mary Evelyn Studio Art. It used to be Leave That to Me because we were Star Wars people, and so it was like kind of like if, for any of your artwork needs, leave that to
Yeah.
me. Again, I like a good pun, so.
Let's see. What are your future art plans and goals? What direction are you headed in right now? Do you like to go the house?
To conquer the world.
Do you like
just kidding.
just shoot for the moon?
Just kidding. I would say, okay, so I wrote down just to touch on a couple things. So like kits, I want to do watercolor kits.
Ooh,
I want to be able to provide people with like a little bit of everything that they need to accomplish a painting. And I know there are many, many, many companies that do this already, but they have their own audiences.
yeah.
That's important to know. As an artist, you may feel frustrated to be like, well, 5,000 other people do dog portraits.
Yeah.
So what?
So
Who cares?
what?
You have something to offer your audience. And whether that starts out with just friends and family, again, it doesn't matter. Do find what you're, like Andrea keeps saying, the niche, that's what we're here to talk about. Find what it is. And my high school art teacher would always say, find your style. And that was really hard for me for many years. And it finally clicked. And I was like, okay, I got it. And so anyway, and the other part of that is because I wish I could have tried a lot of things before committing to something. And that goes back to high school. Like I hated buying a whole box of Prismacolors or whatever other junk material because I don't like Prismacolors. I'm sorry, anybody out there that likes Prismacolors, please buy Faber-Castell polychromos. You will not be disappointed.
We need.
It's a beautiful product. Beautiful product. So things like that, including maybe like one or two pencils. If I came up with a project, like we're gonna do some self-promotion here for a second. I just listed my how to paint a dog nose class on Skillshare.
Oh.
There is a link in my Instagram and on Facebook. And Instagram is Mary Evelyn Studio Art. So you can sign up with Skillshare and get 2 months free. So I walk everybody through that, but the idea is I want to offer a kit to accompany that so that you have all the tools, you get your box, you watch the video, you can do everything that I did, basically, barring any experimentation. And, there's always going to be fluctuations in watercolor, which is what I love, but at least you would have like some guidance on what to expect with these particular products. Because I think that's what turns off people from watercolor is they do it with maybe, I don't know, low quality paper, low quality paints, brush. And they're like, well, I hate this, which is what I did. I did that in high school. It's just finding what works for you. So that was the other thing. So kits, classes, obviously the workshops, that will hopefully be kind of up and coming. And Prissy Paw's Pet Salon, it's on Green Mountain Drive. It's real close to where you were working on those murals, next to Cherryberry. And that is going to be the new hub for, I should say hub, I don't know, the new location for workshops for myself here locally. So we're actually doing local, you know, if everything goes well, which this workshop's already full. I have 10 people coming tomorrow. I wasn't expecting but 3 or 4 to sign up. I mean, I'm not trying to like self-sabotage, but I'm just like, oh, like 2 people are going to sign up.
Yeah.
Well, I have some awesome friends who sweet talked their friends into it. And, you know, between my Zumba ladies and my paint ladies, yeah, so there's 10 people coming tomorrow, and that should be really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that goes well, we'll have another workshop. We'll probably do like how to paint a hedgehog or how to paint a bunny rabbit, or, you know, we'll probably have a kids class at some point. But there's not really anywhere in Branson right now that can say they have an art location like that. So, but it's next to the salon. So she has a grooming salon, but the next door, she also owns the next door, which is a retail space. And I've posted a few pictures. So if you go check out my Facebook page or Instagram, like she's got chandeliers hanging, and we have like gold Baroque frames with all my artwork hanging up. So it's just like a really like snazzy, you know, it's elegant, but industrial all at the same time. Like it's an interesting, you know,
very
mix.
cool. Very
so,
cool. Christine
anyway.
says that she's helping me with a mural this year. You're helping with a mural?
Am I helping you, Christine? Have I committed to that yet? I might have gotten an email today.
That's so fun.
Yes. You should tell her to hop on and like plug that, because it's awesome. She's creating a team to do, I should know what park it is. I should probably open the email. But it's a wall in one of the parks here.
Yeah.
And so she's gathering artists to do sections of the wall.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, Christine, you should email her.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. So I was thinking about it today. She's like, oh, in the next couple weeks, come up with your concept. And I was like, a bluebird with some dogwoods. Like, that's kind of what I would like to do. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I may lose my mind in the next couple months.
No, you should definitely do it.
I don't know. Other thing, kids book. We talked about this the other day. The Adventures of Cooper. Yeah, once that's a physical copy, we're going to have that at Prissy Paws. That'll be there because we're going to have retail stuff there. So that's somewhat coming to a close. I keep saying that like to self-encourage myself, like we're getting there. I'm trying to wrap that up. She's been patiently waiting for me to get that done. She's awesome, this author. And then the Fabled Peppers collection. That's the other thing that I want to do.
Okay.
That one, I'm just gonna have to close commissions one day. I know that. I know that.
Yeah.
So, I was gonna say the Fabled Pepper stuff. So like I have like a little sticker sheet with all my little characters. So there's like that is my mic. There's a Doxy Fly. This is Chili the Merpup. This is Bama the Pity Fairy. That's my dog Thea.
Yeah.
She's a Merpup, and then the Pittycorn. So, and then stickers. And just a little fun note. If you go Sticker Mule, get on the email list, and they'll send you promotions. And the only time I order from them is when they have like, get 50 stickers for $19 or something. Oh. It's a great deal because you can sell those for a couple bucks, $2 or $3 a piece. They're always having really great deals. So for artists that are wanting to kind of transfer over to stickers or any kind of, I mean, they have a majority of like, I want to order like packing tape one day, like the wet that you get wet, and you can do poly mailers. And anyway, they're a great company. So if anybody's wanting stickers, go sign up. They'll give you some awesome stuff.
Sticker Mule. Okay.
Sticker Mule. Cool. Yep. You can, I am sure you can imagine what their tagline is. Yeah. Again, maybe that's what's endured me to that
Maybe. I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
I'm sorry I keep looking this way. I keep looking at
Oh,
you.
I'm looking at you the whole time. So,
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
it's
Cool.
yeah,
Fun.
you can tell, but you can't really tell. It's like not that. It's
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah. It's technology. See, okay. Um,
Yeah.
is there any advice you would give artists who want to make art their full-time career, but just don't know where to start? Where's a
Mm,
good starting point?
don't quit your day job too soon.
Okay.
That's advice
Yeah.
number one. Again, like I said at the beginning, use it as a building block no matter how much it's a horrible experience. If depending on where you
Hmm.
work, it could be a great experience, or it could be just you want to quit every single day. Well, you have to have funds to work on your art business. I mean, even from this workshop, I'm sure most people would be like, "Oh gosh, you're pulling in so much money." Well, no. I just ordered 11 easels for this workshop. I ordered product. I'm pouring back into now over time that will take care of
Yeah.
itself. But it's a constant. I went and picked up paint at Hobby Lobby that was on sale. It was acrylic. I don't even do that many acrylic paintings. But I probably bought $60 worth of paints. Well, I just finished a commission that was about that much. So I literally turned that around and bought supplies. So if you want to build something, I would maybe highly encourage getting those commissions, finding what people want, and then just pouring it straight back into the products that you either want to try or that you know you love and want to keep buying more of.
Hmm.
I mean, I order a box of crescent board watercolor or crescent watercolor boards by the box just because that's just the best
Yeah.
value. Um, I would say I know a lot of artists want to do what they want to do, which is fine if you have venues to display and get your artwork out there.
Yeah.
Um, but it's really finding those jobs. And I'm sure most of y'all know from the lovely Andrea here that I don't know, you just go out and you get them. You just either email
Yeah.
people or you go to locations that could potentially hang art. And for me, in my experience, has just really been coffee shops because I'm gravitate towards coffee shops. So find out if those places either there was one in Georgia when we lived there that would rotate every 3 months. So you would get on a list and then you would show your art for 3 months in their coffee shop. And I thought that was a really cool setup. And they had like the wire on the walls, so like the wire hangers, so you could, run your art as high or low as you want, or put multiple pieces because it was like brick wall or
Okay.
something. But for them, it's free artwork. They don't have to invest in decor, but I think to me, it's a local thing. It's like a community thing. I love when people can I don't know, that's what I love about the art walk. And that's another thing. Find out if your area has events like that, an art walk or a group like ours has State of the Ozarks, and we have SMAC, Southern Missouri Arts Connection, nonprofit organization that you can get involved in to get things done. Like Christine's about to get us involved in a wall,
So cool.
kind of like restoring a park. That's like the first step. That stuff is cool.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
sorry, there's a message in
No,
front
you're
of
good. You're
me.
good. I've had people try to call
Like,
while we're on here before. I'm like, no.
no,
Yeah,
go away.
that's awesome. Yes, more street art. That's amazing, Christine. I love that you guys are doing that.
Yeah. Uh, it would be great. Yeah, I know. I keep looking at walls. I'm just like, oh, and that one, and
Yeah,
that one. I'm sure she does all the
it's
time.
addicting. Yeah, there's so many of them.
Yes.
Yes, amazing. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for hopping on here, especially so last
You're
minute. I
welcome.
very much appreciate it, and I'm
Oh,
so excited that we got to catch up. And Emily and I should come to a Zumba class, if anything. I'm gonna, yeah, because
yes.
I've never done
Oh,
Zumba. I am not a dancer, but
it doesn't
okay,
matter.
okay,
It doesn't matter. You guys just come do Zumba. Um, just check with me. Schedule's constantly
yeah,
changing. I have Monday nights at 6:30 now at the
okay,
Y in Hollister. And I may be taking over Tuesday, Thursdays at
yeah,
6:45, which I know that's getting into a later hour for y'all to get
yeah.
back. also at the Y. So, and then I've got a couple 4:30 classes, but message me. I would love for anybody who wants to try this crazy nonsensical thing. I don't like exercising. I don't like lifting weights. I don't like walking. So if I can dance calories away, and we do stuff with squats, and you work your arms and you work your core. So I don't see anything wrong
and
with
it's
that.
just such a good so you because we with our profession we just sit there and we paint and we sit or we stand and we stare at a wall and we do nothing. So it's just good to get out and do something. I try to.
You find what you love, and it needs to be a balance, because I did that one year during Christmas. I sat the whole time, like pretty much. I ignored Zumba. I was like, I have too many things to do. I have to do this. Well, I ended up getting sciatica in my leg.
Oh, wow.
So that was horrible. And I'm like, is this how most people feel? Is this how most of America feels? So get out there and find a class that you love. And it's just more fun with people. I mean, I could do it at home, but it's not. It's more fun to go party with people.
Definitely.
So,
definitely.
Sure.
Well, I will see you soon, hopefully. I'll message you. Thank you again. And
you're welcome.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to start to do this mostly for our podcast listeners. If you could just tell them where they can find you, so your Instagram or your website. What's the best way if they want to come see all these really cool watercolor pet portraits?
I would say Instagram's probably my most active account, because I will jump on there and do lives occasionally. And I'm going to try to rope in other people to do joint lives with me there.
We should do one. I want to do one more on Instagram.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I jumped online one time with another gal who does bandanas in Washington that I've painted for her. And I just painted while she was doing her thing. And people were like, this is so relaxing. I was just like, it works. Yes. So Instagram, Mary Evelyn Studio Art, Facebook, also Mary Evelyn Studio Art. My website is ME Studio Art. So you don't have to spell out Mary Evelyn. It's just mestudioart.com. And I do have ME Studio Art Workshops, I think is what it is, .com. I know that's long. That's on my Facebook page as well. You can go straight there and click on it. Or just Google my name.
Mary Evelyn,
Just don't research me too much.
Right. Don't go too far down there.
I don't know. People just shouldn't Google their names. That's just a rule.
Okay. I don't know. Alrighty.
I don't know.
I will talk to you later. Thank you again.
All right. You're welcome. Bye.